Alrighty, well, let's get started then. So hello everyone, welcome back to TU20 Ventures. We're super excited to have you guys back today. And this is our last sort of workshop presentation session for 2020. Can't believe it's been such a crazy year. But anyhow, it's going to be the end of one crazy one and the beginning of hopefully a back to normal year. So, just a bit of the just to share what the agenda, what's on the agenda for tonight. We're going to do the student presentations. Then we're going to go through a quick reflection on the projects and what the judges felt. I'm going to talk briefly about the Tech Under 20 social that we're going to have soon, and then we're just going to wrap up whatever's left for this year. As I mentioned earlier, the judges for today, we have three amazing judges. We have John, who's the Director of Enterprise Sales at New Relic Inc. We have Lorin, who is the CEO and Managing Director of Alliancesphere, and also he's also Xander's dad. So thank you for having us. Thank you for inviting your dad, Xander. And we also have Tanner, who is a Senior Account Executive at Idian Media. So, judges, if you quickly want to introduce yourselves and just explain, what your job entails and what the company, what your company does, that'd be really cool. And if we could start with John, please go for it.
Sure, thank you. Yes, my name is John Levesque. I'm a sales leader for a sales team here across Canada, based just north of Toronto. And I as a sales leader, I really worked for the sales team and our customers. But the company I work for, New Relic, is an observability SaaS vendor. So people might know us as an application performance monitoring solution. Our CEO, Lou, he's from Port Hope, Ontario. He created this industry in 2008 and we continue to grind out here. So pleasure to meet everybody. Looking forward to this.
Awesome. And Lorin, you could go next.
Yeah, I'm Lorin Coles, CEO of Alliancesphere. We're a boutique consultancy focusing on, we work a lot in the high-tech industry, helping companies grow and innovate through collaboration, partnerships, and different types of alliances. We work with a lot of the main companies like Microsoft, Intel, Cisco, Accenture, those types of companies, working with them and how they go to market and how they sell with and through their partners. And real excited to be here today to learn about, the different competition that's going on here.
Awesome. It's a pleasure to have you too, Lorin. And last but not least, Tanner, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, for sure. And I'm similar to Lorin. I'm also really excited to be here today and hear from you all. I'm actually here because I had the opportunity to work with Xander just this past summer when he was an intern for our company and did a fantastic job. But currently right now I'm a senior account exec at Idian Media. Effectively, our business is representing larger, kind of more premium international digital publishers here in Canada, helping connect some of Canada's biggest brands and smallest brands to the audiences that they have here. So specifically within my scope, I'm on the sales and business development side, working, largely with a lot of the more major, bigger media agencies located here in Toronto. So
awesome. Alrighty, so thank you for introducing yourself, judges. So as you guys heard, all three of our judges, John, Lorin, and Tanner, come from really cool backgrounds and they're pretty close to home. So if you guys have any questions about anything, feel free to ask them. They're really cool people. Alrighty, so I'm just gonna quickly go through the format for today's presentations. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to join the breakout room that your group is assigned to. And I'll get to that in just a second. Once you get into your breakout rooms, you'll be presenting your slideshow or your mind map first. And then you'll have like a quick improv almost to make a cold call, sorry, to one of to your judge. So you're going to present your slideshow first, then you're going to have an improv cold call presentation to your judge, and then you'll be using the cold call template that you made and get feedback on how that conversation went. Keep in mind that the cold call time is not included in the 5 to 7 minute time limit. So you are allowed to have it like a little bit more conversational, but keep in mind that 10 minutes per group is what we're aiming for altogether. And then finally, after the groups are finished, you'll be meeting back in the main room. We're going to go through a quick reflection exercise, and then the judges will announce their nominees for the prize. So far, so good. Is everyone okay? If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat or just give me a thumbs up along the way. Alrighty, so these are our group designations for tonight. So as you see, the name of the breakout room is the group that you're going to be part of. So if you have, there's 3 breakout rooms, each named after your judge. If you're in the Xander's group and your judge is going to be John, join the John breakout room. So these are your designations for tonight. Do take a look at them. Otherwise, does anyone have any questions?
People have been selling for 20 years, prepare for meetings like this, so we go a lot better. I see Lorin laughing. You can appreciate going through bad sales calls. But no, just really good job, everybody. I was really, really impressed. Good work.
Yeah, and I agree with John. I felt like, look, John and I probably feel the same. The art of cold calling, you just cannot stress how important the area that you guys went through today. And I don't know about you, John. I was just impressed that they used it, the topic itself. I mean, it's just sort of very, very real world. That is the real world, guys. That's real world. Stressing out over the email that you got to send or getting on the phone and picking up the phone and trying to get the appointment is really important. So, I agree. I thought the research, the work that you guys did, it was very thorough. And there's no substitute in the real world. In doing research is critical, preparing is critical. So good job.
Brilliant. Alrighty, so I guess you guys all sort of covered up, the judges, I should say, sort of covered up these questions. But if we could just go over them once again, like what did you think, starting with Tanner, by the way, what did you think was done well by the teams overall?
Yeah, and to kind of echo what John and Lorin just said, looking at the presentations, I was like, what's the style like and can you present well? And I thought both groups that I heard were fantastic from that perspective. I mean, the one group where they were both in grade 9, and I thought they did a really, really good job presenting, much better than I was even doing in probably first year university, let alone first year of high school. Moving on from how things were presented, again, I thought like clearly they knew what they were talking about, and they knew that because it was done, because a bunch of research was done. So, like the one was on TVs. I learned how, TVs are produced. I learned about TV brands that I hadn't heard about before. And then the other one was on cloud computing. And I actually started my career, actually selling cloud computing. And, I honestly think B probably knows more about cloud computing than even I do. So I was just really impressed with like how serious you guys took it. I was even learning things going through it. So yeah, really well done.
Thank you so much, Tanner. And what about you, John?
Nothing. I mean, look, like Lorin mentioned, the cold call prep and like the email, like this, what you all are doing here and is actually extremely practical in the real world when you do this professionally. And I should say it's understated how critical some of what you folks are doing here and how you can apply it to virtually any scenario you go through. So I love the framework, the format you guys all have, and that we were able to deliver this. I think both teams did a really good job of tying the whole story together.
Awesome. And Lorin, what did you think overall from your teams?
Well, I thought Zoya. I had more of a formal presentation from Zoya, but I thought, not only did she bring knowledge, and she brought a lot of. I was impressed with kind of the energy and the ability to kind of communicate in a clear and concise way. In itself, it was impressive, and then. Just generally, again, being able to think through from start to finish what's required to kind of, get someone's attention to then actually closing for the appointment, and understanding the importance of time and getting right to the point. I thought, again, that was very, very good. So I think, again, it's doing this kind of stuff over and over where it becomes much more natural. But I would tell you that people still, you could be in this industry 20, 25 years and people still get very nervous over writing a good email, doing a cold call. So don't underestimate what you're, as I said, this is the real stuff. And it really is the difference between the winners and the losers. I hate to say it, because the people that can't do the things that you're trying to do right now, procrastinate and put those things off. And honestly, it's the ones that, and it's not something that is necessarily natural for everyone. So I think you guys did a great job for it being, if it's the first or second that you've ever done. And you only get better the more you do it. So I would just say great job from what I saw.
Awesome. Good work, guys. And then the second question is, what would you suggest people should improve for the future? And we could start with Tanner.
Yeah, for sure. So though the first group, which did it on TVs, the only real piece of feedback that I gave was, they presented really well. The content was really, really well done. I think the way that it was laid out in the actual presentation and actually, building out sort of the PowerPoint could have been improved a little bit better. They kind of walked through, 6 or 7 different TV manufacturers and had a lot of great detail on each slide of, different ways that they price things, different ways they manufacture TVs. But it would have been kind of nice to see it all laid out on one slide. So I could have quickly seen that, Sony's higher cost, better quality. Meanwhile, there's another firm that's lower cost, lower quality. So that was really the only piece that I gave the first group on TVs. They did a fantastic job. In regards to Sabi, who did cloud computing, I thought the presentation was really, really good again. He did go over time though. He went well over time, which, based on how much effort he put into the presentation, I was cool to let him go over time. But sometimes you're going to have buyers that aren't going to be that forgiving. So I would just say kind of be cognizant of that. And then when it came to the cold calls, I thought they were really good. I think, they were trying to be concise, but I felt they both tried to race to the point a little bit. Whereas, they would ask, hey, Tanner, this is who I am. How are you? And then they wouldn't pause and give me a chance to respond. They would just be jumping into, can I have 15 minutes of your time? Which is great. You actually want to get to that quickly, but I almost thought that if you were going a bit too quickly. But just to echo kind of what Lorin said is you just did 2 very uncomfortable exercises of presenting to somebody who you didn't know and then cold calling somebody, which is probably the most challenging thing I've ever had to do in my professional career. And the more uncomfortable you guys are getting and doing this, in high school, the better you're going to be when you actually, start doing it for real. So, keep getting uncomfortable and keep kind of pushing yourself, because it'll only be for the betterment in the future for sure.
Awesome. Thank you. And John, what do you think people should consider improving for the future?
Yeah, good. And Yeah, to echo what Tanner's saying here, this to be able to have this experience and go through this now is awesome. It just sharpens the saw for the future. But yeah, two things I would add to what you all are doing already, and this, by the way, it comes with practice, and that's the only way that you can really do better at what I'm going to give you in terms of feedback. It's just the at bats or the reps, right? And that's really it. The two things to be really cognizant of is when you're delivering a message, and especially in a video context like this, don't feel like you need to read the slides that you're presenting. It's people can read, they're going to read what they're going to read, but they're going to listen to your voice and your conviction and passion about what you're saying and how you're saying it. So really, really important. Don't read the slides. People can read. And with that, also a lot of like really good pictures in the content today. So find a way to draw like more pictures and less words and tell a story. I think that will from birth, if you all have younger people in your family, children's books have pictures in them. There's not a lot of words for the parents to read because kids don't read. So we all learn through pictures at a young age, and it really shows in the business world. And as you're communicating, like it's all about Insta stories and memes. Like I don't know of another way that I learn about information. So take that and apply it to how you deliver content. My dog is excited. The last piece I think is goes back to it is just being concise with the statements, and it goes back to maybe not reading the slides. But again, these two things, like if I had this advice at 15, 16, 17 years old, maybe better place than where I am today. I have no idea, but I think adding those two things to what you're doing will change a lot.
Awesome. Thank you, John. And Lorin, what did you think people should sort of consider for the future?
Well, I think and Dennis brought this up, but I want to focus on it. I do think the more research, don't underestimate the amount of content that's out there for any person that you're trying to reach. There's so much information that's available today that's free, that you can learn about people that you're trying to get a hold of. And there's so much information about, where they're from, where they went to school, who they might be connected to. Those are really important as you're trying to connect to someone that you don't know. Establishing that rapport on the front end and connecting to something. Remember, what you're trying to connect with is on a mutual area of interest. And you're trying to establish some rapport and some credibility with the person on the other line. And so the more that you can think about those types of things to connect with the person in that initial 5 seconds or 10 seconds on something that that's interesting to them, that matters to them, the better chance that you're going to get more time with that person and potentially the meeting. So I would just say, don't underestimate the importance of doing the research and the prep, even when you've done it 1,000 times. All I can tell you is I do that still every single day. It doesn't matter who I'm contacting, what I'm doing. You still have to do the research. You still have to jot down some notes and still think about what you're going to say. And I think that it becomes more natural and it's easier for you as you go forward. But again, try to make it personal as best as you can, as quickly as possible. And that would be my advice. But I think, my team did a good job with that, in our little role play.
Awesome. And then Dennis, did you want to add something really quick?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that cold calling, cold email, sales, research, this takes time to learn, and it's something that they don't teach you in school. There's been a number of efforts within the sales community, even in Toronto itself. I actually learned about this format at an event that John was judging at called Rate My Pitch. Last year, we actually took some of the Tech Under 20 team members out to practice this, and we basically had like 4 sales professionals there, or 5, and they gave feedback to everybody's pitches live, and you could learn from everybody else. So this is sort of a community effort in general in terms of teaching people how to sell, how to prospect, how to close deals, because as everybody has mentioned on the call, this is a lifelong skill, right? This is something that nobody tells you until it becomes part of your job. And suddenly you need to figure out how does sales work apart from your misconception that it's a sleazy car salesman, right? So you've sort of had a small taste of what it's like. You've had some comments from different judges and mentors here. So if this is interesting to you, please do some more research. There's some great resources out there. If you have any questions about them, don't be afraid to reach out. We can send some follow-up links. But just as sort of there was a pitch on cloud computing, sales is in every part of life, right? So even if you're super technical, there are jobs where you're a sales engineer and you help sell through your technical knowledge, right? So no matter sort of where your career goes, whether you just want to be super technical or you want to do more on the business side, you're going to need sales skills no matter where you are, whether it's convincing your peers or convincing a customer. So keep at it, and it'll benefit you greatly in your career.
Awesome. Thanks, Dennis. So I think that's just those are the questions we sort of had for you, judges. The last question that I have is, because there's a price component involved in the competition, from each judge, who do you think you would want to nominate for the prize for this specific project? Probably give you guys a chance to think, and then we could start with Tanner.
That's tough. Between the two groups, they both did such a great job. There was a bit of an age gap too, from grade 9 for the first group and grade 12 for the second group with a B there. But even though we went over time, which, again, not everyone's going to be as forgiving as me. I would probably say, within my set, it would be a B, because he did do it solo. And he was just really thorough and in depth on a very complex topic in cloud computing.
Awesome. Good work to Tanner's groups. And moving on to John, who do you think you would want to nominate for the project?
I didn't know I was going to have to be put in the spot like this with everybody, but yes, there's always a team. I feel like that the team that delivered probably the best here, and the only difference here is probably the flow and like the content and the flow of the content. But the team that Lawrence, Fahim, and Xander really, I think, are the team I would put forward as the contenders.
Awesome. Good work, guys. And last but not least, Lorin, who would you nominate? Oh, you only have one group, but
I only had one. But Zoya she was a rock star, and then Zayn came in at the end. But yeah, she did an awesome job. She had just fantastic energy, like I said, and I think that's really great.
Awesome.
And John had said that. I think it's how you could, it's the way you can, it's your conviction. It's the way that, if you're not excited about it, I promise you the other people aren't going to be excited about what you're selling. So I just remember that. I mean, you've got to be passionate. You got to be excited about what you're talking about. That's contagious. People can sense that. And, like I said, I think that's one of the great strengths that Zoya had. She really had great energy.
Brilliant. Yeah, thank you so much for coming out to judge us today. And yeah, just to sort of echo on that, like the prizes are just to like, it's almost like the icing on the cake, or rather the cherry on the cake. But these are things that these are skills that we hope to hope to have you guys build on throughout the time at Tech Under 20. And yeah, so if you guys didn't win, that's all right. So there's always a next chance. But good job. I think it's a really good job that everybody came out today, and we're really happy that despite whatever's going on in the world, and you can just easily get into your cocoon, into your comfort zone, people are still coming out to try these challenging things. So good work to everybody. Really proud of everyone here. Like I said, this is our last workshop, so we have a holiday social for that's taking place next week from 5:30 to 6:30. It's going to be pretty brief, but it's just our sort of way to wrap up the end of the year. And yeah, so apart from that, we hope you guys had fun so far. Tech Under 20 Ventures will resume on January 5th, which is a Tuesday. So that's in the new year, and it starts again at 5:30. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Hope to see everybody at the social. Once again, that's next week at 5:30 to 6:30. Everyone's welcome. And otherwise, if everyone's good, thank you, judges and students and presenters, for coming out. Hope you guys have a really happy new year. Stay safe, and hope you guys enjoy your winter break, and see you guys in the new year.